Welcome to Gracefully Imperfect, a podcast for the all-encompassing Black man, the professional, the entrepreneur, the student, the family man, the father, and the everyday survivor. I am your host, Semantic 7. And on this journey together, we will discuss all things related to fatherhood and parenting, morality and ethics, striving to become mentally healthy, our role within our households and our family, health and fitness, and I dare not to forget, there will be a lot of sharing of our personal developmental stories that have shaped us to who we are today. So let's go on this journey together and center our consciousness, relax our mind, off we go to the depths below. Peace, love, blessings, and abundance to all of you. We are back for another episode. I am so grateful that we are sharing in this space together. Now, I don't care where you are as far as location, disposition, region of the world. I'm just happy that you chose Gracefully Imperfect as your podcast of choice. It really does mean a lot when there's so many podcasts out there and so many different listening platforms. And I understand that it may get a little stressful or overwhelming when deciding what is yours or what is made for you. But I'm grateful that we are here together. I'm also extremely grateful for the simple fact that the Creator in the universe has moved me in a manner to continuously use Gracefully Imperfect as a vehicle to help improve and better lives, share thoughts, share insights, exchange information, expose knowledge. I'm just so grateful that I finally took the step to do this. And I'm also extremely joyful to say that today's all about Poetic Prose. And for those who don't know what Poetic Prose is all about, it is a designated time that we give the space for poetry. We allow poetry to be our vehicle towards understanding and enhancing our awareness, explaining and expounding on situations and experiences that cause a lot of obscurity in our mind. We use poetry to tell a story. And hopefully that story possesses the power, possesses the profound illumination that can touch a heart, can touch a spirit, and that can move someone towards more enlightenment. And before I begin, I definitely want to highlight that my schedule is off, y'all. It's off. It's with the seasons changing, children are back in school, my wife is almost due. I have found myself being a victim of lack of time management, which is contrary to how I normally operate. I am very structured and organized with how I divide my time, but lately I've been, I guess, just getting so lost in time that by the time I do think of things that I want to do, like this podcast, I have to prioritize it for another day. But I'm gonna get better. Part of this process and part of this platform is to expose and express how vulnerable, emotional, and imperfect that we are. And so I'm wearing that on my forehead right now. I am lacking in time management. But nevertheless, we are here right now for Poetic Prose, and that's what will be delivered to any and all of you. So this piece that I want to share with y'all is called Precarious. And it parallels the last episode if you listen to it, rest, relax, and realign. A part of the reasoning for going on that 60-day hiatus was the fact that I felt suffocated by the world. I felt like I was being lured into this deep, dark pit of misery. And I wanted to escape. So Precarious, this piece that I wrote, it highlights that state of feeling like you're drowning and feel like that you are being overcome by darkness, by a cesspool of darkness and nastiness. And I wrote about that, and I want to share that. Again, this piece is called Precarious. I hope it resonates with you. I hope it touches your spirit and your soul. And I hope that you can find parallels that can help support your journey to more understanding, to more knowledge, and to crystallize wisdom. In a world filled with pretentious pretenders, delusional believers, skeezers and schemers, inauthentic dreamers, bob and weavers, people pleasers, excessive appeasers, misguided perceivers, exploitative teachers, infectious diseases, street sweeping viruses, ungodly high premiums, oppressive systems, politicians politicking, secretive political missions, promoting toxic visions, biased institutions, a cunning mind, snarling tongue, distorted views, overshadows the sun. Money first, people second. Pay the church, then care for the latter. Help me, please. Hear my plea. I lament with wide eyes and an open heart, praying for solace in the chaos. Harmony when there is acrimony. Mutuality when there is divisiveness. For the moral transformation in a civilization that promotes malevolence over benevolence. And that's precarious. And again, it aligns with, and it parallels the last episode where I talk about the misery and the needing of finding tranquility and peace. So I'm not gonna reveal. I'm not gonna sit here and paraphrase what happened in that audio clipping. So please go back and listen to that if you want more context. But specifically about this poem, I wrote this poem during a time where, right before I went on my our getaway in July, I was writing this because I feel like the world. Sometimes I just feel like the world is not helpless, but due to trends, fads, these shifts in pop culture, topics and subject areas that get sensationalized over news and media outlets, like all that, it really, really hurts my heart. It really, really hurts my heart because there's a lack of substance. There is a disregard for humanity. There is a bunch of promoting and advertising I'm sorry, not surface, but superficiality. And it's killing, it's deteriorating the humanistic fabric of our society. And so as those things are ruminating in my mind, I decided to write about it because I had no words for it. I had no idea how to process this, organize it in a way, and really, really try to understand its magnitude. And so I began writing Precarious. I wrote Precarious actually outside on my porch. It was after listening to a few podcasts. I'm not going to highlight what they are or who they were, but it was some podcasts that was promoting toxicity. I listened to a few songs, contemporary songs that I thought were uh, uninspiring. And it just had me think about all the other things that make up human society, that makes up this civilization, that are done without any regard of its impact. And I've also thought about the things that make up a capitalistic society, how content is not always driven, content is not always created with the people in mind. There are times where content is created with only the outcome in mind, and that outcome can be monetary. It can be more followers. It can be more subscribers. And as I started thinking about that and coupling that with just our public institutions, it almost brought a tear to my eyes, y'all. And so that's where Precarious comes from. It comes from just already feeling like not the world, but our humanity is being devalued and being reduced day by day by day, with lackluster when lackluster content is being produced and published, when lies and secrets are being permeated through radio and and television, and all these things are happening. It just made me want to cry and weep for our civilization. And my way of doing that was through this poetic prose piece. And what I wanted to do in this piece is what I wanted to do in this piece. I wanted to highlight as many as I possibly could, all of the injustices that are not always looked at as injustices, but when you look at how they serve and you look at their impact and their functionality, they are creating injustices. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mentioned politicians politicking, exploitative teachers. When you go to a school, you're not looking at your teacher or looking at the teacher or teachers and saying, you know what, they don't have our best interests at heart. You're not saying that. And and I'm not saying that this is fits the mold for all teachers, but what I'm saying is that we have seen that public education is not as beneficial as we thought it was when we were on the inside. We've also learned that there are teachers that abuse their power, they abuse their privilege, who don't have our kids' best interests at heart. We have public education curriculums that are still praising and celebrating colonizers and plagiarists and not really providing a full scope inquiry or investigation into the real happenings of our society. So that's why I say exploitative teachers. Now, like I said, these are entities or people uh, or contributors to a society that, yeah, from a simple glance, yeah, they don't come off as creating injustices, but there is a sample size within them that do. And so that's why, in this poem, it really just tries to really spell it out. Spell it out what is spell out the wrongdoing, the mishaps, the injustices, what we think is right, but is really immoral and unethical. And for me, y'all, by doing this, it was very cathartic, because when you have a bunch of weight on your shoulders and you feel like your chest is caving in and you're losing breath, you need a relief. And this relief for me was just saying, okay, I'm putting everything out there. I'm not holding anything back. Yeah, and so I was being extremely and boldly descriptive and honest about what needs to be fixed. I don't know how else to really describe this piece or describe how the process, because I don't know, it it seemed very straightforward to me. Something doesn't feel right. I'm not going to hold it in. I'm going to use my vehicle to express and to expound upon the issue. I do want to reiterate, though, I will get back on schedule. I will get back on schedule. I will get back to Poetic Prose being on Monday, and then our dialogic discussion being on a Friday or Thursday. I've also thought about maybe going to just 1 week, 1 day a week, but we'll see. We'll see. More to follow on that. I want to just say I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity for me to share this personal piece to all of you. I hope you felt something. I hope something from this penetrated your heart, mind, and spirit. And if you think someone needs to hear this, I encourage you to pass this along. I'm going to place this poem in the episode notes. And I'm also going to put all the information on how we can connect, because we need a community. In order for this podcast to become bigger and better and more influential, I need more imperfectionists who are willing to walk with me. So please connect to the Instagram. Please subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google. Send us a review. Let us know what you think. Give us 5 stars if it's 5 stars. The more feedback, the better. And send us an email if you want a little chat, or if you got questions, or if you want a certain topic to be discussed, or if you even have a testimonial. All is welcome. This has been a very, 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 very therapeutic session. This isn't therapy, but it's been very therapeutic. And I hope that with more and more Poetic Prose sessions, that you too can feel the relief and the release of whatever you're holding on to or whatever you're dealing with. Thank you for sharing in this collaborative, safe space. I appreciate you being your most emotional, vulnerable, and imperfect selves. I can't wait for the next episode. And right before you go, I want to leave you with the quote of the day. Every emotion that is in the human mind is there for a positive reason, and they must be used for positive reasons. Anger is a positive emotion if it is used correctly. So is aggression. God did not put anger and aggression in you just for negative purposes alone. Dr. Amos Wilson. All right, y'all. Peace, prosperity, and good health. And I'll see you on the next episode.